Here's a video of a doctor who has come back from Gaza, and he talks about one of the worst things that he saw regularly.
I think I found particularly disturbing was that a bomb would drop maybe on a crowded, tented area, and then the drones would come down and...
Please take your time. We're incredibly grateful that you're making the time to be here today. And I can only imagine just how it has impacted you and will continue to impact you. And I feel, because you can't unsee what you've seen, but being able to share that with us really helps us hold legislators particularly to account. So we do appreciate the time that you're making for us today. Thank you.
So the drones would come down and pick off civilians, children. And we had description after description. This is not, an occasional thing. This was day after day after day, operating on children who would say, I was lying on the ground after a bomb had dropped, and this quadcopter came down and hovered over me and shot me. And that's clearly a deliberate act. And it was a persistent act, persistent targeting of civilians day after day. We had 1 or 2 mass casualty incidents every day.
I think you guys all got it, but basically saying that a bomb drops, and when people go to try and help those who have been injured or are dying, a quadcopter, which is like a drone, I believe, would come overhead and then shoot those who were trying to help. And as he's saying, this is a clear case of shooting innocent people, innocent civilians. It's a clear case of genocide and ethnic cleansing. It has nothing to do with, there's no reason to suspect that someone who's come out to help an injured person would be a Hamas militant or whatever bullshit Israel tries to say. So, here's another doctor who gets back from what he's seen, and it's just cut and dry genocide.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the sadism that you see from Israel that goes from top to bottom. You see the IDF soldiers posting videos on their social media of them laughing, putting on women's clothes, and then you see it reflects the policy from the very top, and it makes sense. Like, when you see what Israel is, I remember like a long time ago, I had a friend who was a Zionist, and we would have these arguments back and forth. And he was saying that, like, it's no wonder that Israel continues to elect these further far right politicians, because look at the people on the other side of the wall that are like a constant threat. So of course they're gonna go for the politicians who are offering them security above all else. And I was trying to tell him, I'm like, dude, you're almost there. You're so close. Like, that's where he ends his analysis. But just take it one step further. Like, yeah, it's because you have people on the other side of a fucking wall. Like, if that's the foundation of your society, of course, this is where it's going to lead. It's going to lead to this hatred, this fear, the hatred, and then the sadism that we're seeing today all throughout Israeli society.
And dehumanization. I think,
of course,
a wall is one of the biggest ways to just teach people, hey, those people over there are not real humans. They're outside of our society. They are supposed to be treated differently. They're not supposed to be treated like regular people in our society. And, you see some of the language coming from Israeli officials, calling them cockroaches and things like that. And this was the same as, Nazis and many genocides before that. And after that, it's the people that are mass murdered. You've got to act like they aren't human. And people have also pointed to part of the reason that the U.S. was okay with dropping the atomic bombs, even though if you look into the history, there was no need to drop the atomic bombs on Japan. But part of the reason that so many Americans were okay with it was because the Japanese had been so dehumanized. They were like cockroaches. They were like non-humans. They don't count. And you just see it again and again in genocides.